everybody. My name is Alan on behalf of my co-host Estancia and the crew of the show and the guests. I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. Tonight is really, you know, I say it every week, and everybody who's seen a lot of the shows know I say it every week, but the feeling around here is that this is just going to be a special, spectacular show. And for me, it's been a really wonderful week. My parents have come out to visit from the East Coast, and we spent a week together. And I really see that it's such a strong connection, parent and child and parent. And yet there's, for all of us, there's almost like a deeper connection than that. The deeper connection is that we're all brothers and sisters. We're all children of the one Father. We're all part of the whole. And there's no separation there. And I just see this as a time of healing, a time of coming together, a time of people experiencing that oneness. And I think that this is going to be a show of healing. I mean, the music you hear in the background is one of our guests, Joel Andrews, who's an incredible master harpist, who's a channel, in a sense, or a vehicle for angelic presences and just incredible harmonies coming through. And he'll have a wonderful chance to play a lot of different songs and just be playing. His music will just carry us and heal us. And his partner and his wife, Serafina Andrews, is with us, who's a sensitive and a healer and a teacher and an author. I mean, so it's just a show where we can heal all the divisions and feel that there's no separation, and feel that whatever differences we've had before, they do not have to exist ever again. That there's no difference between races and colors and creeds. And we just see that in the human level, but there's a deeper level, a level where we can all experience that perfection and that oneness. And that's what this show, I can feel the healing taking place already. So in order to really cement that experience, as we usually do at this time, Estancia leads us in invocation and a meditation. And behind that, you will hear the whole time Joel Andrews, and then we're going to go right to him playing Invocation of the Angelic Forces. So this is going to be really spectacular. So just relax, cool out, and heal with us tonight. Estancia?
Thank you, Alan. So maybe we can just take a deep breath together and become aware of our own divine selves sitting here and sitting in your homes. And maybe just as we feel our energy, just send a cord of light down through your body, from your heart, all the way down through your feet, through your open feet chakras, down into the earth to connect with Mother there. And then send another cord of light up through your body, into your soul and into your monad or I am presence. And we ask tonight that we connect in a column of light all the way up to the Godhead. So we are connected up and down, above and below, bridging heaven and earth within our own hearts. And tonight, we call forth to all of the angelic forces. And we call to the angels and the archangels and our guardian angels and ask them to be with us. And tonight we ask that the masters and the angels prepare this room and prepare your homes, if you wish, for a meditative experience, for a journey into healing and love and deep, deep rest for your souls and for all of your beingness. We call and ask that our bodies come into deep relaxation. We ask for an ascension activation to take place, if you wish, with your free will involved. We ask that our chakras be aligned and balanced, and that all of the higher chakras now be overlaid over the normal 7. We ask that the angels of music prepare our ears for healing and for hearing. And we ask that all the light quotient that can be amassed tonight in our 4-body system, emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual, that we have an increase now in the amount of light that we hold. We ask that the thought forms of the masters come and merge with us, that the light body of the cosmic and spiritual hierarchy for Earth come and merge with us so that we can truly be brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of God, of Mother, Father, God, into a big circle, all of us together. And tonight is a very special kind of gift back to the hierarchy, back to the spiritual guardians. We ask that this music tonight be dedicated to all of you, that it be our thanksgiving, that it be our gift back to you to feel our hearts and feel the energies of our spiritual bodies as we are awakening, to feel our love for you as you guide and assist us in our journey and our evolution into enlightenment and ascension. And let the music just bring that love of ours to you and bring us all into just an incredible experience of love and deepening now. So maybe all of you, if you wish, you can close your eyes now and enter into a moment of silence and let the music just really touch into your heart as we call upon the Harp Master, Lord Sananda, to come and open our hearts this night, moment by moment.
spectacular.
Oh my God.
That was really
It was
spectacular.
almost like it was so smooth that it almost felt like he wasn't even playing. Really, you know what I mean? Do you know what I was feeling when he was
Well, this is Serafina. She's with us.
Serafina. You probably are never used to it. Like how beautiful.
Every moment of his music is a moment of miracles for me. It's just wonderful to reach angelic realms through his music. Thank you. It's beautiful.
I just, I felt like when he was playing, I felt like this, he could truly sit, in a room, and does, in fact, I'm sure,
Yes.
in a room full of angels and masters, and his music is worthy of them.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember at a time when we first met where I was invited to a studio and he was invoking the angels. And I had an experience of my life when I was opened the veil of silence to see the angels and be invited to dance with them. And and I being a dancer, it was like, I never knew one could dance like that. That was an amazing moment. Thank you.
And you're such a compliment to his life also, with your whole experience with angels and all the miracles of will you tell us a little bit about the miracles with your book?
Well, first might I say that when I met Joel, I dedicated myself to be an ambassador for peace, an emissary for peace. And as we traveled, we've been so fortunate to meet so many great leaders and people who are involved with raising consciousness on the earth plane. And there are beautiful centers around the world dedicated to this purpose. And it's through them that I give thanks and that Joel can bring his music and share that with the world.
Welcome, dear one. That was
Thank you.
Magnificent.
Pleasure to be here.
Magnificent.
Thank you. Well, I can't do it alone.
No.
I can't do it alone. Depends on who's out there listening, and it's a co-creation always
Always.
on many levels.
Right.
Could you talk a little bit about how it is that you do work now? And I know that for 30 years you were a traditional harpist. And maybe talk a little bit about what happened.
Well, I was a professional harpist for many years, learning everything you can imagine about playing the harp, and then a lot of things you'd never imagine, like playing for births and weddings and transitions. But then my whole life changed, and I realized that all that was apprenticeship. Often we're doing things which are going to be used later.
Right.
So I found that I could play the music that I was hearing in higher dimensions. I could begin to co-create with these higher sources to bring through music for healing, for upliftment, for the raising of consciousness. And that was such a joy. I actually had to make the decision whether I wanted to spend the rest of my life playing for 5,000 people for entertainment,
Right.
or to play for one for if it could be healing. But I got the idea somewhere, or they gave me the idea, that the highest destiny of art and music would be to heal.
Right.
Well, that's what
I'm
I
really
pursued.
glad that you made the second choice. Really. Do you remember the first time that you actually heard the angels playing? I mean, do you actually hear a music, a kind of sound?
I do. Before I start playing, after I've said my affirmations, one is to get cleared for the work, my own stuff. The next one is to offer myself for a certain purpose. And I always say those, even after 25 years of doing it. But once I say that, I go into this semi-trance, and then I'm open to hearing. But once they start it, then it's all in sync. I'm playing it and I'm hearing it.
Almost simultaneously.
It's all in sync, yeah. But if I stop playing, then I might hear something.
Yeah, energetically, it almost looked like for me, and I didn't actually see a form of an angel, but energetically, it was almost like there was something, do you know what I'm talking about? Wrapped around you, like you were being hugged, you were being held as you played, and you know what I mean? Like you could have leaned back into it. It was so close. That's what it looked like.
I feel changes go on. It's not trance work because I'm conscious, But I feel something come in, and I feel a tremendous expansion, and my heart opens, and my mind opens, and everything opens.
And so does art. Artists do too when you play.
It's a wonderful experience. It never tires me. I never get tired of it.
I'd love to share an experience we had in Europe one tour, and Joel was set up for a concert and playing, and all of a sudden people were seeing these angels around him on the stage. And they came back to me and they said, "Do you see that?" And there were 5 or 6 people that came back at different times, and they said, "I felt touched. It was as if something touched me, and I felt healed from that experience." And this has happened so many times in concerts.
So now, when I ask for people's responses in the concerts, I say, "Did anyone feel touched?" And they put up their hands, and I say, "Now, did anybody touch him?" And they say, "No,"
Right.
Because they're all entranced. Their eyes are closed, and nobody's touching anybody. So if they're open to that kind of ministry, then the angels come that close. But many psychics who come to the concerts see the angels around. Also the masters.
Do you know who you work with in particular? Is there anyone that you could
Well, in my
share?
particular case, which is kind of unique, now I want to say first, it doesn't matter the words you use. Everybody has different words. But to me, I use the word the living Christ to symbolize the highest of the light in this solar system. That's the words I use.
Not in a religious sense, but in a in an energy
Not
sense,
in a religious
in a
sense.
healing, right?
You could say the Buddha, you could say the Tao, you could say whatever.
Right.
You could
Yeah,
say
because like you say,
Supreme.
people get caught up on words, and that's, Catholic, or that's,
Yes, and
Buddhist.
my work
But
is
you're thinking more of an energy of love, really. Right.
love and light. So I invoke that to protect everything. So I see a gap from that coming down to me. In my particular case, many higher beings are asked to come into that gap under the protection of that for whoever's on duty or whoever has the information we need. So many very high beings have come through, but it's not considered what they call channeling in the sense of a spirit guide or something like that. It's just tuning into the highest that I can possibly tune into, which anyone can tune into. So because of that, I've been able to work with space beings, ascended masters, many angels, many different types of beings. And I like that variety.
I know, it's like we don't really ever have to be alone. There's so many beings out there that are, waiting just for us to call.
Yes, they're all out there now, but they always honor our free will. So therefore, they won't come in unless we call them in. But anyone can call on the angels, the masters, God, whatever you want to call it.
That's why it's so important. Invocations are so important. I just wrote a book about invocations. It's called Invocations to the Light, and I think it's so important. It's almost like a how-to book because it's just important. It's an important tool for your own growth. It's just because they do honor our free will and they won't interfere, and they can help us so much.
Yeah, they're heavy penalties for getting in the way of our free will.
Yeah. And one of these days we'll be working from those realms. So it's lessons that we'll need for our future.
Yeah, we're studying how to be co-creators with God so that we
How
can...
to be ascended masters as well.
Yeah, why not?
Exactly.
We're godlings, right?
Godlings.
That's
I
a
like
good
that.
word.
That's really cute. And you're both authors too. So you have books. You have
And you have a book of poetry, right?
I have a book of poetry called Keys of Passage. And I have to thank again Joel for taking me to Europe one year. And in the middle of one evening, all of a sudden the table of contents came through. I said, "What is this?" And as we traveled through Europe, we were going to very sacred temples and cathedrals and ley lines and vortexes, and these poems were coming through. And one evening, on that tour, Joel always opened his concerts up with the Ave Maria, invoking the Holy Mother. And I was inspired to write a poem. And as I was writing Ave Maria, this lady comes up from Russia, speaking Russian. I couldn't understand her. And she asked, she said, I have a gift for you. And she hands me something she'd had in her wallet for 20 years. And it was a picture of the Black Madonna, which was very sacred to people in Russia and in Europe. And she said, I want you to have this. And it was as if it was, again, a way to say, hey, you're on track, you're doing the right thing.
Harmony is happening.
Right.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Right.
Sweet.
Nice.
And there was a strange coincidence there. By the time she had finished the tour, that was 2 months, she had brought through all the poems for the whole book. And she wanted to find some artwork to go on the cover. She thought some keys from heaven would be good. So we were in Assisi. We went to the basilica that is built right over Francis's little church, little wooden church is sitting there. And there was an earthquake there, and the whole basilica fell down, but not the part right over the little church of Francis.
That he had built, right?
That he had
So
built.
the rest had fallen down and that had stood.
I mean, this huge stone edifice all fell down, except not right over the little wooden, the old wooden church of. So we meditated in there, and then as we came out,
There on the ceiling were these beautiful angels with golden keys.
No
And I thought, oh my gosh, if that's not a symbol for a book.
Really?
And a kind of confirmation, yes, thank you, for completing something, for our voice to speak.
so there was one more miracle at the end. When we were about to come back, we went to pick up our luggage, and in this apartment, the cat had gone out, and the door had locked, and we couldn't get in. And they had a locksmith there trying everything to open this door, and we had to catch the plane in Brussels. And finally, I said to Serafina, I said, "Do you think this might mean something?" And she closed her eyes and she said, "Oh yes, I have to commit to getting this book out." And the locksmith went, "Meow," right through the lock. Just immediately, as soon as she made that commitment.
Amazing timing, huh?
That was amazing.
And so we just made it to the plane.
So can I get you to, was there more to that? More
No,
to the
that
story?
is that enough?
Okay. That's enough. Do you think you could talk a little bit about what goes on in your healing sessions? And how you work with
Yes.
clients?
Yes. Well,
does it happen?
very early I developed this ability to do a healing tape for a person. I just take their name and their birth date. I can do them. I've done 2,500 of them
That's all.
in the last 25 years. And I can do them in person or if they're somewhere else in absentia, because the holy beings give me the music.
Right.
So I translate the name into pitches. I play those on the harp. That's like the file number. You know, it's because I can't do it without their permission. I don't feel that I should go into their Akashic records. So the angels hear that file number, they bring forth the file, and they give me the music. For a long time I did past life readings. I still do, if people want them.
Do you play music during that time?
So then I say the affirmations, I go into trance, I play the name, and then I get the first life.
Right.
And then I get the second life. But in between, I'm looking to see.
So you're talking, you're not just playing?
No,
You're just playing?
Music only on side one, because people dance to it, sing to it, meditate to it. And the music goes far beyond the words.
Right, the vibration of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm looking to see the past lives, or I'm just experiencing the music. Turn the tape over, play the music back again, and give the interpretation. If it's just a healing tape, then I analyze the meaning of the notes and the symbolism.
So one side is purely music and the other side is talk with music behind it? Or you just talk?
Talk with music behind it. Because, if you get some kind of a reading that's in words, how many times do you listen to it? Just a few, and then you've got it. These music tapes people listen to for years and years and years. They call me and they say, "Oh, my tape broke. What am I going to do?"
Right.
They listen to it every night. Because it's the real thing, it's the real vibrational reality.
It activates people, and so therefore it could be activating them
Over and over
and
all
all the time.
Music is like a shorthand for life. It's not a symbol for something.
It is something.
When you fully experience music, you're experiencing life. Yeah. So I do many different kinds of tapes. I do tapes for couples, where the past lives come through that they have, where they first met and then so on. And tapes for animals and plants and parts of the world and just many different kinds of tapes.
Exciting.
So I've had many stories. People write me these incredible stories of their healing.
Tell us one. Tell us a story.
Well, all right. There was a woman, I did some tapes for the chakras, for each chakra. There was a woman who had to take 7 grains of thyroid to keep her chakra in balance. This was in the East. She heard I had a tape. She lay down. She listened to it once. She was totally healed. No remission. She went back to the doctors. They said, it's impossible.
It didn't happen.
It's not possible. We can't explain this. Then there was a man in Berkeley. I was being interviewed on KPFA years ago. He came into his house and somebody had left the radio on of my interview. He never heard me speak, but he heard music I'd played the night before. This man had had polio pain for 20 years. I met him a few years later and he told me this story. He said, I felt like I was taken out of my body, caressed, loved, nurtured, put back in my body, free of the polio pain forever. After 20 years.
And he never had it again. That was it.
Never had it again.
That is really fantastic.
Of course, a person has to be ready.
Right.
No healer can heal anyone if they're not ready.
Right.
In fact, let me say, I don't heal anyone.
I knew you were going to say that.
No.
Healers always say that,
Right.
true healers.
Yes, because all I do 2 things. Well, I do 3 things. I provide the faith that it's possible because I've seen it.
Right.
I tell them, look, this is possible.
Right.
If you can learn what the lesson is, you can be healed. This goes for anything that's happening in the body, because that's all it is, lessons. Secondly, I can kind of provide a connection between them and their perfect blueprint and God, whatever you want to call that. And that's what does the healing. The third thing is what I'm doing is making friends. I may have some karma with these people who come, and I'm making friends. But I don't take any credit for the healing. But it's ecstatic. See, when I got into this work, like everyone else, I was trying to prove myself early on doing this music. And I proved myself enough. So I got to the point where I could say, I don't really have to be able to say I did this anymore. That's not so important. What's important is I want to be there when the miracle happens.
When it's happening, right.
That's enough for me now, see? And that's why, when you get to that point, then the higher force says, well, all right.
Might as well. Might as well use this person.
Yeah, now we can come in and co-create with you.
Yeah, because you're evolved enough to where
You're
you
not
like
there
the service
so much.
now,
Right.
not
You're not
just
there so much
for
blocking
your
your
ego.
own.
Perfect.
That's
Both of
beautiful.
you
That's
are
a nice
healers.
description of it.
I'm there, but I'm expanded
Right.
tremendously. And I'm open to co-creation. So then the miracles happen.
Right.
So you're going to play another song that you, I guess, just were inspired by coming on the show and all?
Well, I have to do something about love, human love. And of course, the love relationship is really like a seminar. All these love relationships are like seminars nowadays. And in this seminar, we can learn the love of self, the love of another, the love of family and children, and the love of God. So they're wonderful workshops. So I thought I should do a piece on love, which would be bridging our reality with the reality of heaven. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
So it's called Bridging Heaven and Earth
Can we
Through
use it
Love.
for a theme song?
Bridging heaven and earth through love.
That's fantastic. All right, so I guess Joel's going to go set up and play some more, and this has been quite an experience.
Oh yeah, that's terrific. So I guess you've seen him do this many times.
It's
And
a
just blow
miracle
people away.
to see the hearts of people open, or people coming to concerts and saying, I don't know why I'm here, but something told me in a dream to be here at this concert. And then they walk out of the concert as like a new rainbow happened through their body. They would come in gray and turn a different color. And it's,
You speak so beautifully, Serafina.
well, I just, every day I think I say to God, I want to be in service. And it's like the more I say that, the more these leaps of faith get easier and easier. And things can happen in your life. And you meet the right people and the right things evolve in a wonderful way.
I'm so glad that both of you are, could be here with us, and all the people watching get a chance to tune into this.
Thank you.
It's a gift.
I mean, Wisconsin has been looking forward to you being on the show.
Oh.
I mean, when she heard that you both were coming on, she got so excited.
Oh,
So
Really?
it's really, and then, because, she knew your work.
I
didn't
said,
really know.
Alan, you're not going to believe this. I just can't believe this. That this is so fun. What we're doing.
yes.
So I guess whenever Joel's ready.
Right. He's probably ready now.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you, I was sitting here and there's weeping on both sides of me. I felt like we have two sensitives and an insensitive. I was waiting.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking, this is so silly. I had this like silly thought. I was like, when I grow up, I mean, it was like when I grow up, I'm gonna have to marry a harpist, or at least have a collection of Joel Andrews or something. I mean, how amazing!
It's amazing.
And you play the harp too.
Well, I met Joel because I wanted to heal with music. And I had a harp at the time. And so somehow the universe put us together. And I had no idea that I would let the harp go a little bit more and do more in writing. Because I wasn't trained to be a writer.
You do teaching. I mean, you do soul path awakening sessions. So could you tell us, everybody a little about that? I'm sure they'd be excited to hear that.
Well, first of all, I learned that you have to step aside from yourself and allow the divine to come through to do something like this. And people come to me with very deep concerns about their lives and deep questions. And since I had been writing and working with hosts of angels, I do most of my work as a scribe. I hear and I write.
You used to do that.
Yes.
What's that called?
Spirit. I call it automatic writing.
But I'm conscious when I do this.
Yeah.
So after a while, people started to come to me. I had no idea what was really happening. And they come to a session, they give me their questions, and we go into a state of grace. I say affirmations, and then these answers come through for them. I put them on tape for them, and then we counsel with angels and masters. So
yeah, that's exactly what you do. And that's
like,
amazing.
It's like working in heaven.
It is. And people change and shift consciousness. Their lives can change if they're ready to accept what they hear.
Yes.
But sometimes it takes a lifetime to understand what 1 minute told them.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen these people come in a state of distortion, and sad and not themselves. And these angels come with such love and such understanding. They can see everything about us, and yet they love us. And so then I see these people go away just shining, they're
After a
totally
session with
transformed.
Serafina.
They're back in touch with who they really are, their divinity, and they're hopeful about what they can do in their lives. It's wonderful.
That's a great gift.
It's a great joy to be a part of it.
Right.
Because when we share and serve in that way, we can help the next person reach out to the next person.
Right.
And this is the way the universe can evolve,
Right.
hopefully, to a higher level
Right.
consciousness.
Yeah, lighting lights and lighting lights. And,
That's the reward.
And I always felt like when I do that work, and when you do, it's like we're really getting a chance to unite the kingdoms, angel, human, and the others, because my animals are always present.
Yes. Once we had the privilege of talking to a little 5-year-old in Maui, and we stayed in her room, and she said, "Oh, these angels have to work overtime all the time now." I'll never forget that.
That's so cute.
That's great.
Serafina, could you give you a little message? Did you bring a little message from the angels?
A message for the viewers tonight, and of course, as I said, I write it, and I'll read it to you.
Oh, beautiful.
So just allow this to come through you and let it hopefully touch your hearts. It's from the angels. Dear friends, it is best not to worry so much about the future. and what those around you are interpreting as disastrous directions. Instead, look into the positive and constructive good you can bring into your life each day. You can choose to live in the manifestations of joy and ecstasy, and see each action you take as a positive step towards self-realization, unfoldment, and enlightenment. You may also choose, if you wish, to allow fear and worry and anxiety to lead you into your future. But please think seriously about this, as this choice is one of hardship, taking you further and further away from a more divine path. Dear friends, we give you these choices, but encourage you, please, to step towards the path of a positive action in your lives. This will lead us all into a self-empowering humanity that can bring about evolutionary change through living in truth and beauty. A renaissance of awakening each other's and each one's soul purpose. So be it. We give great thanks.
Amen.
Thank you, and thank you,
you.
angels, for
Thank you.
bringing that through.
That was beautiful.
Oh, wow. Maybe we could talk. I mean, it feels like the time was still, the time was here.
Isn't there a summer comedy
Yeah, I want to make
music
sure that
festival
we
would
you
like
get
to
to
talk
talk a
about?
little.
Oh yes, the Pacific Summer Music Colony. Every year I give a weekend of workshops for musicians who want to learn what music really is and how you can use it for healing. So I developed these games that you can play to learn the art of improvising. So all different kinds of musicians come, and the virtuoso can play alongside the beginner. But the last few summers, we've taken a whole day to go into the woods.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We talk about how the Celtic bards,
Right.
tuned into nature and
Right.
got their inspiration from nature. So I help them to learn how to tune into trees, which I've done. I've gotten a lot of music from trees. No question about it. It's amazing. So we go into the woods and play with the trees.
So tell me, like, you talk. The trees tell you something about music, or you hear music coming
Well,
from
you
them?
can talk to a tree,
Right.
but you have to realize that they are very, very, very peaceful. So you can't hear a tree unless you get extremely peaceful.
Right.
It takes most of us nowadays quite a while to get that peaceful. But the reward is, it's taken me a few years. At first I talked to them,
Right.
Then after a while they talked to me. And
Right.
finally I had an actual back and forth. But they are so intelligent and they know so much that we need to learn. And so this is possible. It just takes practice.
I love that. I'm
So
glad you
anyway,
did that.
this takes place.
Where is this held?
It's in my home in Ben Lomond, California.
Which is up in above
it's,
Santa Cruz or in Santa
20
Cruz?
minutes northeast of Santa Cruz, about 2 hours south of San Francisco.
And you've been doing this for about 10 years?
10
have you?
years.
10, 12 years.
So it's an annual.
So how many people come? I mean, 100 or
Well, it
10
varies.
or...
It just varies. It's all up to spirit, really.
Right,
And the
absolutely.
number come that I can handle and that they can all have deep experience.
Right.
Usually it's about 10.
Right. Well,
But
if
it
people want
varies.
any information about that, please call my number at the end of the show, or Estancia. My number is 805-687-2053, and I'll give you all the information about the books and the tapes and the music colony and all. So if anybody
This
wants to
year
find
it's the
anything out, please
23rd
call.
to the 25th of this
Of this
month.
month.
Of August. So,
So
people would
if
have
they
to
wanna
get it.
come,
you have to in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
2 weeks from
usually it's
today
in
it
August.
starts.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. That must be a beautiful experience for you to be with all these musicians and in
Oh, it's
nature.
wonderful.
We have people from all over the world come, and they come into the woods and they realize, oh my gosh, there's such peace in the woods. Why have I forgotten about nature? And
Many of them
that's-
have never seen the redwoods, and it's an
Oh,
awesome
yeah.
experience.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
See the redwoods.
And to
Actually,
talk to a redwood, that would
And play a duet with a redwood.
Actually, I had an incredible experience I have this house that's kind of in the woods, and I leave a lot of the windows open because it's warm around here almost the whole year round. And so these birds, this one bird, it's so incredible, laid 3 eggs in the windowsill, right on the windowsill. And so they hatched, and the birds were like living there and learning how to fly this last like 10-day period.
Right.
While my parents visited, the 3 birds were learning how to fly and, you know, being fed by their mother, you know, right?
He has a sign up, you know, he won't let his parents take showers.
I won't let my parents shower in the bathroom because that's right where they are. But it was so neat to see. And then this morning, the last one flew out, and then a deer walked along in the back. So I mean, just those things are so, they're like the ocean. They just bring you to that experience that, you know, of the awesomeness of
I think all the barriers are dropping.
Right, exactly.
All the barriers are dropping, and one of the sweetest ones is the barrier between us and the animals.
Right.
I envision this time, well, where there'll be no more captives of animals. If you want a horse to do something for you, you have to ask.
You have to
and you
love,
could,
right.
well, part of that vision is to spend the night lying down with a deer.
Right.
Paul Winter did this, where he spent the night with a seal.
We went to Yosemite, and they were eating, you know, carrots and apples right out of your hand. It was really incredible.
You know, my golden retriever sleeps with her head like right here in my neck. And she sleeps like that.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
It's so dreamy. It's so dreamy, you know. And so when I ask for different healings and activations, she's getting them also.
Yeah, all the barriers are breaking down. I mean, just the... And yet there's still so much. I mean, people see the differences and the separations, and I mean, all of us to one extent or another experience where there's no separation. We're all that one energy and that one child of God, and I see that happening through your music. And this is, I guess, our 28th show, and we've had such, you know, I mean, every week I think this is going to be the most incredible show.
We've never had anything as stunning, an instrument as stunning as that
golden harp.
I mean,
I just want to say one thing. The thing that I've learned the most from all of this is that everyone is divine, because every single tape I've done for a person is exquisite. I used to puzzle about that.
Right. So their basic energy is divine.
Yeah.
Period.
From the viewpoint of the angels and the masters, we are all divine, and so we have to remember that what you see is only the shapes of growth. No matter how distorted a person looks, it's only a pattern for their highest growth. This is an incredible revelation. Same thing goes for whatever's going on in the world. There are no mistakes here. God isn't looking the other way. Whatever's going on is allowed by God. What we have to do is figure out, what is God doing here? That's our...
Actually, it's just to experience the perfection. I mean, you know, with our head, we'll try to figure out, why does this fit? But there's a place inside where we surrender and we experience that everything's perfect.
Yeah.
So it just like drops down.
Yeah.
You know, so we're experiencing kind of the perfection right from here. Right from the heart, right from that, and moving and taking each step from that experience. And
it has to be.
It has to be, right.
And hopefully it then moves into that there's no separation between God and me, because, you know, I'm the daughter, you know, we're in
There's
family.
No other energy,
So I'm one with you, and so I and the Father are one.
That's all there is.
That's all there is.
Yeah. We tied up the whole thing in one hour.
That's what, you know, at the beginning of the show and the end of the show, we say dedicated to the oneness, and that's really what it's about. You know, that we all more and more have that experience, and that, you know, nothing else exists. And
thank you for doing
this.
Thank you for doing these shows. It's wonderful.
So Joel gave his last comment. Why don't you give your last comment?
Let's please just think about peace in the world and how we can be peaceful within ourselves, mostly.
Absolutely. Alan, you're thinking.
My turn. Just experience the love within you. I mean, there's so much power and love and oneness that a human being can experience, that we should just really, whatever way we can do to do that, play music, meditate, go to the ocean, go to the mountains, do it. And it's there. Take us out, Listy.
And I would just like to say that it's all really changing, and we're all moving and evolving.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.